Good morning. It's Monday, 18th of May, 2026. And as you see, I'm not in my normal place. I'm doing a body scan today, a mindfulness body scan. And it got me thinking about how we can help our body to be strong and healthy. And one of the first things is exercise. So I like to do some exercise every day. When I get down in the morning, put the kettle on, I do some squats inside the house. Apologize for my rubbish voice. It's still not recovered from Saturday. On Saturday, I went to the Palestine Solidarity March and I took my cards with me that I sell to raise money for some families in Gaza who I know. And after the march, I spread them out under an archway because it had started to rain. And I called to everybody who was passing, come and see my cards, all hand-painted on silk, raising money for Gaza families. And I did it for 4.5 hours until my card reader ran out. So I've got no voice, but I'm still doing my lives. And today we're doing a body scan, a mindfulness body scan. So I looked for poems to do with the body, or quotations. And the first one, I'll just wait for the Heathrow-bound aeroplane to pass. I've set my tripod up near to the River Thames. I've not got a microphone and it's quite breezy, so this will not be a good quality video. But I'm sitting on the wall under the trees next to the towpath by the River Thames. You'll see some joggers passing in the distance. You might even see a boat, some rowers out for a morning row on the river. But to start with, I'm going to read you a body poem. This is one that my son and I both memorized when he was quite young. And if ever he hurt himself, if he got a bump or was in physical pain, something that wasn't serious, we used to say it together. It's called The Soul Bird. O world ignorance, although you have shackled my feet, I am free. Although you have chained my hands, I am free. Although you have enslaved my body, I am free. I am free because I am not of the body. I am free because I am not the body. I am free because I am the soul bird that flies in infinity sky. I am the soul child that dreams on the lap of the immortal King Supreme. That is one of my favorite poems by Sri Chinmoy, my spiritual teacher. And then I looked to see what he's actually written about the body, and I found quite a few things, but I just chose one to read for you today. And it's this. In a minute. It's part of a longer reply to a question about the health. Somebody asks, when I'm hungry or upset, I really can't meditate. Sri Chinmoy is a meditation teacher, par excellence. And he says, if you are upset, or even if you are hungry or thirsty, it is natural that you will not be able to meditate well. That's why we need the perfection of the physical also. That's why we need the perfection of the physical also. The body has to be calm and poised. Inside the body, the I've not written it very well. My writing was crazy. I think it's inside the body, the outer world is the soul. The outer temple has to be inside the body, the outer world is the soul. The outer temple has to be kept well. The physical has to be taken care of properly in order for good meditation to be possible. We must pay attention to the needs of the body, but we must not take all the body's demands as necessities. And I hope you could understand that a little bit. And next time I will have to write it better. So we're looking at the body. And I was thinking, what do I do, or what do I know I should do to take good care of the body? And the first thing is exercise. We're designed to be active all day, running, walking, digging, hunting, climbing. And in our society, we don't do that. I have an Apple Watch my son bought me at Christmas, which tracks I'm supposed to do 40 minutes of exercise to raise my heart rate every day. I like to come for a run here by the towpath, which I've only done once in the last week. So that's something I can definitely improve on. Exercise, I want to go to the gym once a week or twice a week. I've been for the induction, so I haven't even gone once yet. Always seems to be more pressing things to be done with my time. But I'm re-inspiring myself to be more serious about my exercise. Next thing's diet. Diet is critical. Sugar, added sugar, is almost a poison. So I try to cut back on sugar. I don't add sugar to my tea except when I've got a sore throat, and I put a bit of honey and lemon, ginger. Otherwise I try and not add sugar or anything sweet. And next thing is hydration. And I do take my hydration seriously. It's one of the things I track in my diary. I should do 2 liters a day, which I usually fill this bottle and just do it at least once a day. Now that must look a bit strange because it's got bits in, but I'm not very fond of the taste of water. Maybe it's London, I don't know. But when I was out here by the reservoir in autumn, there were some wild plums, and I boiled them up and I made wild plum syrup. So I put some of that into my hydration bottle, and I will have some. And I've read that when you drink your hydration, it's best to be sitting down, not standing. And it's best not to be too cold. So this one is just from the tap, so it's not particularly hot or cold. Can you hear the robin? So we've got the exercise, we've got the diet, keep it as wholesome as possible, as little processed food as possible, high in fiber, and I like to get curly kale or the dark, almost, I don't know what it's called, I think negro something, and I eat it raw a little bit. If you have some greens before you have other things in your tummy at meal time, apparently it helps you not to absorb the sugars and get a sugar spike. So I sometimes chew on a bit of salad before I have my breakfast. And the next thing is, you've got your exercise, you've got your diet with as little sugar and processed food as possible, and maximum of roughage and fiber to keep your gut healthy, and your hydration, And then nature is very good for reducing stress. Our neocortex relaxes when we're in a green environment, and especially when we're around trees. Forest bathing is famous because when we're around trees, we don't just get the physical benefit of the nature, we also get the phytocytes, which are oils that trees emit, and they come into the atmosphere, we breathe them in, and it boosts our immune system. So being around nature is very good for the physical health as well as mental health. And what's the next thing for physical health? Sunshine. They recommend that first thing in the morning you come out and get your ultraviolet light dose. I don't usually do that, but I have done this morning because I decided I really should, if it's nice weather, do my morning videos outside and in nature. So I'm getting a little bit of ultraviolet light as well. So I think that's good for the physical body, general health, and the poem. Next is nature. Well, of course, I'm in it. And while I was walking to find the right place to set up my tripod, I picked a few things to show you. This one is, I think it's called cow parsley, but its common name is Queen Anne's lace, and it grows a lot where I grew up. I grew up on a farm, and the hedgerows are full of Queen Anne's lace. It's almost finishing now. The big ones have gone to seed, but this little one is still very pretty. So we got Queen Anne's lace. Then we've got seeds. I showed you recently a sycamore that was still just flowering. The flowers were just finishing. But this is one which is seeded. And you can see the aeroplanes there. We call them aeroplanes because they spin when they're falling down. And aren't they beautiful colours? Some of the sycamores just have green ones, but this one's got red and green. Definitely be doing some drawing of that one in my observational drawing sketchbook. And then we have the ash tree. And the ash tree has these lovely composite leaves, and it has keys, bunches of keys for its fruit. So there are the ash key fruits. And then we've got elderberry flowers. And I guess you've probably seen the elderflower cordial in the supermarkets. My mother and my sister always make it. And it's got the sweetest fragrance. So there you go, elderflower. And elders, like the ash tree, have composite leaves. That brings me to doing my mindfulness exercise for today. And I'm going to do a mindful body scan. So, just to remind anybody who's not familiar with mindfulness what it is, mindfulness is an exercise that everyone can practice, and it has tremendously positive results. So if scientists put electrodes on your head and watch what's going on in your brain, and then they get you to do a mindfulness exercise for 10 minutes a day for 5 days, and they put the electrodes back, they can see measurable changes in the structure of your brain just from 10 minutes a day for 5 days. And what they notice is the neocortex, which is the command center in your brain. It's the part which deals with problem solving and creativity and good communication and wise use of the judgment, discernment. That part of the brain has become denser, which means there are more cells and more connections in your neocortex just from doing mindfulness for 10 minutes a day for 5 days. And the amygdala, which deals with stress, has reduced in size, showing there's less connections and less cells because you didn't need to use it so much. And it has reduced in size because your stress levels reduced. Now, if you want to build strong muscles, you need to go running like people are behind me, or go to the gym or do exercises regularly. It's no good thinking you can just do it for a few days and then stop. You won't get the results. And it's the same with mindfulness. 5 days you can see a difference, but then if you stop, you're stopping that practice, so those cells that were building will not be being used so much. They will disappear, and the stress cells, you'll be getting more stress again. They'll rebuild. So the benefit will disappear. So mindfulness is something you really need to bring into your life regularly. Just stopping for a moment just to listen to the robin in the tree above me. Interesting. I was doing a sound meditation, listening meditation now. There's the airplanes. There's the sound of the cars on the road ahead of me. And there's the robin in the tree. Gratitude. So getting back to it. So mindfulness is a really serious thing which you should practice ideally every day. And I recommend 2 minutes many times a day rather than trying to sit for a long time, because your mind gets restless if you try and sit for 10 minutes and you're not used to that, or longer. 2 minutes here and there during the day you can fit in has great results. You work out a routine that suits you. So mindfulness is an exercise everyone can practice, and it's really beneficial to your physical and mental health. And the next thing is, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is a bird with 2 wings. The first wing is bringing your attention here and now to this moment. I just pause for the airplane. This part of London is very noisy. We're on the route to Heathrow. So you bring your attention here and now to this present moment, and noticing voices, and you notice what it's like to be me here and now at this moment. It's almost like stepping outside of yourself and observing, where am I? Where am I here and now at this moment? What can I see? What can I hear? What am I doing? What am I feeling? Well, I'm feeling the breeze, which is quite chilly, even though it's May. Where I've got my lovely coat on, my jacket on. I'm feeling the pressure of the wall underneath my bottom. I'm feeling some little bit of tension in my legs because the tripod wasn't level, so I put the legs of the tripod on my toes. And because the tripod legs are on my toes, I'm having to hold my legs rather stiff and still. So there's a tension in the upper part of my thigh. I can feel the warmth of one hand against the other because my hands are linked, and the solidness and strength of my body. And it always brings a sense of gratitude when I notice that. The body is like the house that the soul lives in. Without it being strong and healthy, the soul would have problems. So gratitude for my warm, strong, solid body. Gratitude for my physical health, being able to come out to a lovely towpath by the river. Gratitude that I've got a tripod and a little phone that I can do lives with. Always focus with a gratitude attitude. A lot of the troubles and the stresses start to evaporate. So the first wing of the mindfulness bird is bringing your attention here and now to notice what it's like to be me here and now at this moment, where I am, what I'm doing, what I'm feeling, and also what I'm thinking. And you observe your thoughts. And it's so important to know I am not my mind, I am not my thoughts. My thoughts are a choice. They're often a habit, but they don't define me. And I can choose to change them or ignore them or direct them. And now you know the first wing of the mindfulness bird. What is the second wing of the mindfulness bird? The second wing is the attitude that we bring to what we see of who we are here and now at this moment in time. And that attitude is self-love, kindliness, compassion, sometimes a little bit of playfulness, no criticism and no judgment. And you have that attitude towards yourself, what you observe of yourself. But you also have that attitude. It kind of flows out from that towards the world around you. So it reduces the negativity and increases the positivity and the love in your life towards everything. The compassion and the forgiveness. And it brings peace of mind. And one thing that mindfulness does, because it's here and now in the moment, and you're observing your thoughts, you notice when your mind drifts off and jumps away to something else. That doesn't mean you're not good at mindfulness. It means you are good at mindfulness because you noticed it. And what you do is just gently bring your mind back to here and now, to the exercise that you're doing. And the other thing I say about mindfulness is the bird can sit in its nest or it can go flying. And when you do a mindfulness exercise where you set some time aside, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it may be, or following a particular exercise in your own way, which will take shorter or longer according to your own nature, you're choosing a quiet place where you're hoping you won't be disturbed. You're sitting in a comfortable way, you're lying in a comfortable way. For the body scan, I would normally lie down, but that doesn't make for good videos, so I'm doing it sitting. And that's the bird sitting in its nest. You're choosing a time and a place to actually practice mindfulness. But when the bird flies, when your mindfulness bird goes flying, that's like taking mindfulness into your day, into all the activities of the day. You might be still in bed in the morning, and take your attention to here and now and what it feels like to be me lying in bed. The warmth of the covers, the breath, a sense of gratitude. There are so many people who don't have a warm, safe place to sleep at night. So gratitude for that, gratitude for the good night's sleep, gratitude. One of the favorite quotes, one of my favorite gratitude quotes comes from a Palestinian journalist, and she says, "Every morning I wake with massive gratitude because I am still alive and I still have all 4 limbs." We take so much for granted. So, when you take your mindfulness bird for a fly, you can notice where you are. You might be in the bathroom washing your face. You notice the sound of the water, what it looks like, the light that ripples on the water as you run the tap. You notice the splashing sound. You notice the temperature of it on your face. You notice the texture of it in your fingers, the sensation of the water running through your fingers and splashing on your face. You can take it into eating breakfast and just for a few minutes or moments really notice what it's like to eat whatever you're eating. The smell of it, the texture of it, the temperature, the taste, and how your mouth and your body respond as you put it into your mouth, chew it slowly, and swallow. You can take your attention when you're walking and notice what it is to walk. Walking meditation is very famous. You're noticing the sound of the steps. You're noticing the movement of your muscles in your feet and legs and body. You're focusing on the moment, noticing the surface you're walking on, maybe the things you're passing, the sunlight and shadow, the sounds of the airplane. Everything you do during the day, you can bring your attention here and now and make it a mindfulness exercise. But now, let's do the body scan. And my own habit is, before I start an exercise, I like to do a few twists and stretches to tell my body that it's perfectly fine to be here and now and it can relax. And then I like to bring my attention to my physical body and notice, like we were earlier, the temperature, the solidness. I'm noticing the texture of the trousers I'm wearing. Rubbing my hands on my legs, feeling the texture of the fabric. The warmth, the solidness of my legs. That sense of gratitude again. And bringing my attention to my breath, noticing the inhale and the exhale. Letting my breath be quite gentle and a little bit slower and deeper than usual. Not by forcing it, just because that's what I observe happening when I take my attention to my breath. Quite naturally, it slows down. And now, I'm going to start by bringing my attention to the very top of my head. And I always say, when you're doing mindfulness, when the mindfulness bird is sitting in its nest, when you're sitting down somewhere, Imagine there's a thread from the top of your head lifting towards the sky, because it's important to have your back not stiff and rigid, but upright in a relaxed way. And taking your attention to the tip of your head, I like to shut my eyes sometimes to concentrate. It's not compulsory, do however you like. What does the tip of my head feel like? Notice the sensation on the top of your head and feel the relaxation there. And then take your attention to the whole of your head, all of your scalp, and let it be relaxed. You can imagine that you're breathing from that particular part of your body. Your breath is coming into your scalp and going out of your scalp, taking away all stress and tension. And you can bring your attention to your forehead. You don't have to touch it. You can just use your imagination, your mind to focus on that part of your body. Imagine you're breathing from it, inhaling into your forehead, the center of your forehead where they call the third eye. Imagine you're breathing in there and exhaling, taking away all the stress and tension. Take your attention to your ears. Gratitude for ears and having the sense of hearing. Imagine you're breathing into your ears and exhaling, letting all the stress and tension go from your head, your scalp, your forehead and your ears. Then bring your attention to your eyes. Breathing into your eyes and exhaling from your eyes. Bring your attention to your nose. Breathing into your nose and exhaling from your nose. Then bring your attention to your mouth, your lips. Breathing into your mouth, into your lips, and exhaling, letting all the stress and tension from your eyes and your nose and your mouth flow away with the exhale. Bring your attention to your cheeks and your chin. Visualizing the breath entering into your cheeks and your chin. And the exhale flowing out with all the tension and stress, taking away all the tension so that your face relaxes. And you can bring your attention to your neck. Take your attention to your neck, back of your neck, the sides, the front of your neck. Imagining that you're breathing in to your neck exhaling so all the tension flows out of your neck and it's relaxed. Then you bring your attention to your shoulders. Imagine all the stress flowing away from your shoulders. Breathing into your shoulders, you might like to shrug them a little bit so that you bring your attention strongly to where your shoulders are and how they're feeling. There's often a lot of tension associated with your neck and your shoulders. So spend a few moments visualizing the breath going into your shoulders and exhaling, taking away all the stress and tension, leaving your shoulders relaxed. And then you can bring your attention to your chest. Imagine the breath is entering into your chest. If you're a woman, into your bosom. Inhaling into your chest. And exhaling, taking away all the stress and tension that may be there. And then you can visualize your back and notice any stress or tension that's in your back. Maybe wiggle a little bit to be more aware of your back. Visualize a breath entering into your back. Letting all stress or tension flow away out with the exhale. Then take your attention to your tummy. You can put your hands on your belly. Notice how it moves as you breathe. Inhaling from your belly to your belly. Exhaling. Letting all the stress and tension flow away. And take your attention to your buttocks and your bottom. Breathing breath into that part of your body. And exhaling so that all stress, tension, sensations disturbing flow away. Then take your attention to your thighs. I'm stroking mine as I do this, noticing sensations in your thighs. Letting the tension relax. All stress and tension flow away. Inhaling into your thighs and letting the exhale take all the stress and tension flow away from that part of your legs. And then take your attention to your knees. Really focus on your knees. Feel your breath entering to your knees. Inhaling, and with the exhale, all stress and tension flowing away. Then take your attention to your lower leg, to your shin at the front and your calf at the back, and feel What are the sensations in that part of your leg? And imagine you're breathing into the lower part of your leg and letting the exhale flow out with all the stress and tension. And then take your attention to your ankles. Notice any sensations, any tensions in your ankles. And let it flow out as you exhale. Inhale to your ankles and exhale, taking all the stress and tension out. Take your attention to your heel. Notice the way it rests on the ground if you're sitting like I am, or if it rests on the bed or the mat if you're lying down. Inhaling to your heel and exhaling, taking all stress and tension away from your heel. Then take your attention to your foot, to the upper part of your foot and the sole of your foot. Notice any sensations, any tension. Inhale into your foot and exhale, taking away all the stress and tension from your foot, flowing away with the exhale. And then wriggle your toes. You can see what happens when I wriggle my toes, because the feet of the tripod are on my toes, so it makes the tripod wriggle. Take your attention to your toes. Notice any sensations there, any tension. Inhale into your toes. And exhale, letting all the stress and tension flow away. And then just be aware of your entire body and feel that all remaining stress and tension is flowing from the crown of your head down, through your body and into the ground, through whatever parts of your body may be touching the ground. Inhaling into the fullness of your body and exhaling, taking away all the stress and tension from your physical body, from your mind. Turn your attention to your breath, just breathing normally from your diaphragm, from your chest and your tummy. Noticing the way the air flows in through your nose and how it affects the body, how the body moves with the breath. The back, the tummy, the chest. Temperature of the air as it flows in, and notice if it's changed in temperature as you breathe out. I can notice that here because the air is quite cool. And as I breathe out, it's warmer. Then bring your attention back to your physical body and what it's like to be sitting here. The strength and the solidness of your body. And then the way that I like to finish my mindfulness exercise is by rubbing my hands together, creating some warmth from the friction. And just resting them against the side of my face. Consciously feeling what it is to be me here and now, with gratitude and love. Gratitude for today, for the new day. Gratitude for the sense of hearing. One's going right overhead. Gratitude for the senses of sight and feeling. The sense of smell and the fragrance of this beautiful place under the trees. Gratitude for the sense of taste. Got a vague taste of toothpaste still. And self-love which spreads out into the world around. Gratitude for the world, gratitude for the universe, gratitude for life itself. Gratitude for the inspiration to do my morning videos. Gratitude for people who watch them. Gratitude for the tripod and the phone. And love and oneness. We're all a part of each other. And I wish you all a very happy and blessed day. Thank you for joining me here. Bye.